welcome back to Greenlands and another video. I guess I hadn't really thought about how I was going to start this. Anyway, I seem to yet again have neglected the animals a little bit, and certainly the dairy cows have pretty much run out of food, which is a little bit of an issue. I think there's a tiny bit left that you can see that they are trying to work their way through. Thankfully, we have most of a mixer wagon full left from last time, and I'm then going to do another mix. So yeah, I probably need to start making sure that before I skip ahead to the next day, that the cows have a decent amount of food so that they don't run out, because really want to keep that productivity high, need to keep the milk flowing so that we can keep the cash coming in. I decided that I wanted to start putting mineral into the TMR. So going for one of the Deuter, it's essentially a container slash buy point, a bit like the lime one next to this from the base game. I did then realize that actually I have a whole load of grain mix that I made, which I could be using instead. But I just didn't want to do straight silage and hay and straw. So $5 on some mineral feed, which is going to all go straight in the mixer because this thing holds so much. So yeah, it would probably get a little expensive, but maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, I've not decided. I think we have grain mix, which I'm also using for the sheep. But for now, we're just going to stick the 5,000 litres of mineral feed that we just brought straight in to the mixer wagon. The other option is that we buy pallets of mineral. I think you can get mineral feed from the farm supply pack. I'm really not sure. That is a mod that I am using an awful lot at the moment with all of the animal feeding that we have going on. But we're now going to head back over to these silos, get some grass silage and some maize silage, and then some hay and some straw. So yeah, we'll get the cows fed, and then we have some other jobs to do. As seen in the last video, we brought the 2 new grass fields, so I want to head over, get those scanned, and then do any liming and fertilizing that we might need to do, because I'm going to hang off on doing the grass. Sorry, that was some stuff falling over on my desk. I'm going to hang off until doing the grass work until October and do one cut across everything that can be mown. We could mow those fields now. They are at their maximum harvestable state, but they aren't going to regrow before the end of the year. So we're not really missing out on anything in my mind. And I think it'd be easier to just do one mega grass silage effort. I might do it with the forage harvester and pickup header, or a direct disc, or I might mow it and use some loading wagons. I really have not decided yet. Some of it I might end up baling, because I think we're going to have grass down at the industrial bit as well. So I might bale that to save having to transport so much grass back loose, because both the bunkers down there are full still. So maybe we'll do bunker silage for the fields up around this farm, because we do have 2 bunkers that don't have silage in. And then bale down at the mega field down on the wildlife area. Yeah, so that might turn into a couple of videos actually, and then it's basically going to be ploughing and replanting and stuff. So yeah, I think we're very quickly going to get through the end of the year on here with what's left to be done. So the grass fields that we've just driven past are going to be turned into arable fields. So once they've been mown, we'll probably get courseplay going, doing some ploughing, and yeah. So this is the new animal food overview mod, which is really cool because it tells you the different things you need for feeding the different groups of Maize Plus, in case you forget, like I occasionally do. So just looking at what I need to do for the sheep for moisture food and power food. And we can use the sugar beets now for the moisture food. And then we also have, I kind of forgotten because I was thinking, what other root crops have we got? We did a potato harvest. I think just before the laptop failed and had to be sent off. So we do have a cellar full of potatoes as well. So I think we should be good for root crops, especially given that I didn't really use any in the cow feed. So I've done the video on making money from sheep, and I think on here, probably going to keep them as long as we can. Now, there's going to become a point where I'm going to know that they're not going to be kept for long enough to be profitable, and probably at that point we'll start selling them as soon as they reach their kind of most profitable point as a meat animal, which is going to be a couple of months, I think. I'm going to do a separate video on that to follow up, because I kind of thought of that idea as I was talking through the can you make money from sheep, and yeah, I think there's a point somewhere where it's worth feeding the lambs a little bit just to maximize the return. We do also have the poplar, which are just kind of chilling out, doing their thing, taking up space. That, you know, I've already decided that, so she's going to get some mineral feed. I've already decided that once I've used the wood chip that we have in the biomass thing, that it's going. So the poplars really haven't paid off from that point of view. So I think they're just going to get sold once we harvest them, and then destroyed and turned into grass, if they ever mature. They take so long to grow. Just chuck the whole bucket in. No, we've decided not to. I think I'm going to take this over to the other sheep pen, which also needs feeding. I'm also really hungry because I haven't had breakfast yet, and but I need to get this recorded and edited so that I can upload it with the chance today that it'll actually go live. And in theory, with a following wind and my work diary not having been filled up with stuff since I switched off yesterday and have yet to turn on this morning, we will be restarting multiplayer this weekend. So the plan is for Kartek and I to record later on this morning. Depending on how well that goes, there should be a video on the green place later on in the weekend. So yeah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of good because I don't really have any videos. I have half a Maypole video recorded for the rest of the weekend. So I'm really hoping that over the Christmas break I can get caught up and ahead. It's been since I went on holiday and then came back and work's been mega busy. I've never got ahead really on recording videos beyond like a day or two at most. And I find that a little bit stressful. So yeah, I'm not sure how regular the videos will be over the break, but I'm hoping to maintain the you know, at least 5 a week. We'll see. I'm going to be playing a lot of video games, so yeah. Actually, starting on Tuesday, we're going to be having Timber Tuesday. I'd actually hope to record that video today. I may still. We'll see how today goes. Yeah, we're going to be starting something completely new involving timber. Maybe we're going Platinum DLC, so we will see. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about some farming stuff, shall we? So, getting these 2 new fields scanned so we can see where they are with precision farming. Lately, I would have done this with Courseplay, but I decided to do it myself. So yeah, it didn't take long. I really like these little Massey tractors that I've got. I think at some point in the future they should be the focus of a farm rather than on here where they are really kind of utility tractors to just do the little simple jobs. But I've not really done a Massey farm, I don't think, at all. So, yeah, they're nice looking tractors. I quite often use whatever the medium Massey Ferguson is for a lot of testing, because when I want to quickly test something, it's the first medium tractor in the store. So it gets used for a lot of testing just because it's the first tractor that's not a small tractor. Yeah. For no other reason than that, because if I'm in a hurry, it's like buy the first trailer that's right, buy the first tractor that's right to do whatever job that I'm trying to test. Yeah. So I think I think we've got a whole load of straw baling to do in, I think it's Green Valley, Nebraska. I can't remember because it's been a very long time. So that should be fun. If you watched, so this is Friday morning, if you watched yesterday's stream with Paul on Twitch, that was a lot of fun. I was so tired, but which is why I wasn't so chatty. But yeah, I believe crashed once. He claims 3 times. So the replay should be available on Twitch, and I think Paul plans to upload them to YouTube. So yeah, go check out my awesome. Actually, you don't get to see much of me driving because it's mostly from Paul's point of view. But he did have an awful habit of watching me quite a lot. So we did a bit of bale work, well, a bit of windrowing from my point of view in a Z-Tour, and some ploughing in a nice New Holland, which was it was kind of chilled, kind of cool. Was a bit nerve-wracking first time actually being on their multiplayer game. Yeah, really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be back on there on next Thursday, and probably much more random conversation. So yeah, if you just go ahead at it. I know some people are not a massive fan of Twitch, but it's not like a lot of Twitch streams. There's no bells and whistles and singing and all that kind of stuff. Well, Paul did sing, but yeah, he's on a lot of medication. Leave the man alone. Anyway, that's pretty much these 2 fields done. So let's send those off to be sampled. And while we wait for the fields to be scanned, which was much quicker than I expected, we have a whole load of milk to sell. I think on here we do need to look at adding an extension to the milk tank because we've got about 80,000 litres of milk to sell, I think, and that meant that the milk storage in the animal shed was almost full. So yeah, and I don't think I've left it. I think it's no more than a gap of 48 hours in game, something like that. But yeah, that's £78,000 for the first trailer load of milk, which is kind of nice. I'll take that. I'll take that. And back with another 33,000 litres of milk. So yeah, having 160 dairy cows is definitely starting to pay off because they eat a lot, but we make a lot back. So that's another £50,000. And I now have enough to buy field 80, which was the other grass field that I want to buy, which kind of completes that corner of the ring of fields that I want to own. So it's £137,000. So it's not going to leave us much in the bank, which is a little bit of a problem, but we have a lot of slurry to move. So we're going to take some of the slurry and put it in the mini BGA. I also spotted that we have quite a lot of electric charge in the generators that isn't being sold off. So we should get some cash coming back in through the day. If you're curious about the generators that I use on here, they are from the Lizard Modular BGA, but from the original version. So I have not updated my modular BGA on here because I wanted to keep that functionality. If you did update and you want something that's very similar, I have the BGA network distributor on ModHub. It's a little bit bigger, but it does the same function as that old generator. So yeah, go check that out if you want something similar. But yeah, I'm just going to feed that curb is pretty brutal. Given that this is a trailer that's got 30,000 litres of slurry in it. So, you know, that would be a heck of a heavy trailer. And the dogs are missing me. They're fine. Yep, so mini BGA, obviously the one of the premium BGAs available on ModHub. And we're just going to bung as much slurry in as we can fit. The cool thing there is we'll generate digestate, which will be distributed to the fertilizer dryer. So we will get extra income because we already have quite a lot of fertilizer sat there waiting to be sold. So yeah, I'm going to stick both of those on distributing. I think I was hanging on to the methane for the methane powered tractor we have, which is down at the industrial BGA. But so that's that field scanned as well. Let's have a look at what we've brought ourselves. So pH could do with a little bit of a boost, and the nitrogen definitely could on that one. Same there, a little bit of a pH boost, maybe a bit more of a pH boost, and definitely nitrogen. And probably the same for the very definitely we need to lime and fertilize. So we'll wait for this weather to pass and jump in the 724 with the ever so slightly GT Lancer Maximus on the back, and I'll get some lime spread. And then the plan is we have still a decent amount of slurry in the cow pen, so once I've got the first field limed, we're going to see if we can get auto drive and course play working together with one of the Joskin slurry spreaders, and see if we can get a bit of double teaming action going on these fields and get the job done. And then hopefully I'll probably then transition through in the next video to October, and we'll get all of the grass work done. That might take a couple of videos because there is a lot of grass, and I'm probably going to do it 2 different ways. Yeah, so I think I have an auto drive course set up to tip into the bunker that is at the exit to the farmyard behind us. And now we have course plate compacting. It's going to be interesting to see with the confined space that's there whether we can get that all working together. But I think it's a sensible option. The other thing we could do is just use the fermenting silos that are down in the yard, but I'd quite like to do it in a pit, so we'll see how it goes. If it's not working, then we'll just transition. I think the reason I have an auto drive course set up for that bunker is I originally attempted to do it in there with auto drive and it was struggling, and then I put those fermenting silos in. Not entirely sure, but you know, I really want to give it a go. And I think probably we'll go with mowing and loading wagons, because I think we can get the job done a little bit quicker. The mowers are pretty fast, and then I can have maybe a couple of loading wagons working together. It's been a long time since I did that. I think the last time I did that was on Holmold, when I did a huge grass silage harvest towards the end of that series, and I think I might have used big M's. I might have had 2 big M's mowing and then 2 big loading wagons following behind them and devouring lots of grass fields. And we have a lot of grass fields on here now. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there are 10 grass fields around the yard that we'll need to mow, and then the mega field. So yeah, there's a lot of grass to mow. Feels like 10 fields sounds a lot, actually. I may have gone over the top on buying these. We may turn more. 2 of them are going to be turned into arable fields once they've been mown. So, and maybe more need to become arable fields. Obviously, that we've lost a couple of fields that we were mowing. So I used to mow the field that's got beef cattle in and the field that has the sheep in, and now both of those will be for grazing, so we're losing a bit of grass there. So it might balance out, we'll see. Okay, applying looks like about quite a lot of pH actually. 4.3 tons per hectare, or 0.6 units of pH needing to be boosted. This should mean we get a really nice yield off of here. There are obviously some more options to expand into around us, which we could have a look at in the future. I'm probably not going to buy the BGA site on here. I'm really torn, actually. There's something I mentioned on Maypole, and it's something I'm more likely to do on here. Apart from the fact that I want to stop spending money, I want to start paying the loan off, is I'd really like to get a piece of forestry land. Greenlands has some pretty big forestry areas on here, and I fancy a little bit of a play in the winter with some of the DLC kit. At least like the logging winch and stuff. and that should still be a lumber yard on here. We don't have the problem we have on Maypole, where the lumber yard is yet to be built, or has been sunk under the map, so that I could build a farm where it was, because it's a really nice plot. But yeah, you can see there are lots of wooded areas on here. We actually have more trees growing down on the wildlife area, so we'll see how that develops as well by the time we get into winter. So let's see if we can get auto drive and courseplay to play together. It has been a very, very long time since I have tried to use this combination. Actually on here I have used this pairing quite a lot, even with 2 slurry tanks running at once. So the network, most of the network exists for auto drive to do this. It's just me remembering how to get courseplay and auto drive to talk together, because I remember it being a little bit funny about the order that you did things. Yeah, you can see the yard is moderately complicated with what's going on, but you can see there we do have a route going into that bunker silo, so it might need a bit of tweaking to get it to work, but I think that could be fun. Particularly, as I said, now we've got courseplay with the option for courseplay to level and compact. That should speed things up quite a bit, I think. Yeah, I did actually do quite a thorough job on the auto drive network. I think I was using auto drive to cart a lot on those fields for the crops that were in there. I think we had sugar beet in there, which would have been the sugar beet that got processed in through the beet cutter and the beet cleaner into the sugar factory, and where we got so much sugar from, which helped pay off some of the loan. But I moved away from productions a little bit, because I felt that I got just too focused on productions on here before, and I don't enjoy them as much. I like productions that serve a purpose, and get me something I can't get. I don't really need sugar, but for example, the sugar mill by Just Add Adam with byproducts that takes my beet and turns it into molasses and beet pulp with sugar as a byproduct, that's kind of cool, kind of useful. If you're playing with Maze Plus, you should check that out. Just Add Adam actually has a couple of really cool mods for Maze Plus. So just doing a little loop here to create the field segment for auto drive. I created a pretty standard courseplay course, and auto drive wanted to just go off and do a little wander and a check. So how I found I needed it set up, hit the little courseplay button in auto drive, have your courseplay course generated, and then set auto drive off, and courseplay will pretty much sort the rest of it. So it took me a few goes to get it to work, but we do get there. And quite often I would suggest, I did find I had keep speed set as well. I need to change the keybind for that, because I don't use it, and it's linked to the delete key, which courseplay uses. So yeah, the other thing, have it in the right mode. That really helps. So I had it in pick up and deliver. I needed it in load. And then you want the target as the field and the load as the load point. And then we should be good to go. So yeah, it took me a few attempts, and I cut out some of the rubbish, but there we go. So basically the sequence was create a courseplay course, and then set up your auto drive points on the load mode, which is the mode I have selected, and then with the courseplay button turned on in auto drive, hit go in auto drive, and then auto drive controls courseplay. And the same with restarting and things. Auto drive will manage coming back and getting, when it goes off to refill, it'll drive back and pick up from the same point. So yeah, that was the sequence. There was a bit of faff, but I think we have it working now. I haven't used this mode in ages. I do have some videos which actually cover it in detail properly. It can be a bit fussy, basically, but once you get it working, it's really powerful from my point of view. It means I can have 2 jobs going at once, and I really like something that we spoke about yesterday on the stream, actually. I really like seeing stuff going on the farm, and from Paul's point of view, that's why he likes multiplayer, because he likes to have stuff going on and play with other people. I am sometimes less interested in them being people, because sometimes people get too peoply for me, but I do like the fact that, I can see the Deutz working in the field next to me. There we go. Excuse me, sorry, I'm really tired still. But yeah, I really like that, and it gets the jobs done, and we can progress. Yeah, I'm quite tired today, because I find, although I'm just kind of almost the sidekick, I guess. I don't know. I'm just the guy, just chatting away, and not the person that's hosting the stream. I find it quite tiring. I have no idea how. I think Paul's been doing every day of the week for, he's trying to get affiliate status on Twitch. And yeah, I have no idea how he's doing that and not feeling completely dead. So we're just doing a ride along with auto drive. I just wanted to check that auto drive was going to function properly, but I figure you didn't want to watch 5 minutes of the tractor being driven around. And I'm still trying to keep the videos to about 30 minutes, because that's a much nicer length to record and edit and stuff. Actually, a little bit shorter would be nicer sometimes, because it's a really long time to talk to myself. But there we go. So you can see Courseplay. Auto driver's got us back to the field. Courseplay's kicked in and taken over, and now got both running on. So the lime spreader is on Courseplay. The Deutz is still Courseplay and auto drive, and I kind of like this aerial shot. And some people liked it, some people didn't. I think it's kind of cool, and it's a little bit different, particularly when I've got 2 tractors running at once. It's something I have plans to experiment with a little bit more once I've redone the home office setup. Got some ideas in mind that I'm going to test. And if I think that's auto drive going through the hedge, not me. So auto drive has just gone off to refill. And that's pretty much the lime spreading done. So we can go put this away. Yeah, I've got some ideas that I want to mess around with, which I think will be a bit different and a bit unique. So we'll see how that goes. So the Deutz is still busy spreading slurry, but we can go put this away, and then I can take over the slurry spreading, because I would like to do a little bit, because I really like the Deutz tractors, and it would be nice to actually drive one and do some work. So we've got not a huge amount of slurry left, actually. So I think we'll see how far we get, and then probably have to switch to the solid fert spreader. And that's not really a problem, because we produce our own solid fertilizer. So we have loads of it. But I quite... There are a lot of jobs I like in Farm Sim, which is probably quite good, because I enjoy playing Farm Sim a lot. Slurry spreading is definitely one. And I've realised that I've done it a lot in almost... I guess most of you. Actually, we should do that too. Now is a really good point to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, and sorry to Rob for getting your name wrong in the overlay for the last couple of videos. Yeah, appreciate you guys all supporting the channel, and the point that prodded me for that, and I must remember to write down the time so that I can find it easily as I'm editing, is that I have just done a very similar job on the series that the patrons get to see. So yeah, that's why it feels like I've done it a lot. I think I might have done it on Maypole as well in maybe the last video. So yeah, I find it really weird how series tend to get in sync with each other, and it's really hard to break that without forcing some speed on things. And that was something that I spoke about on the Maypole video, and something that I'm going to try and pick up the pace on is the how the days progress. I've got really bad at leaving it on like ×1 quite often, and doing lots of stuff on a single day, and it doesn't help with it, particularly with a challenge like this where I need time to progress for things to grow and animals to produce stuff. The time progressing is actually a benefit. So yeah, I've got it on ×3 at the moment. I'm probably going to try and get back to playing on ×3 or ×5 a lot, just so that we can make progress, because progress is good. We do have a huge amount of wool stored. I have a price alert set for when the wool price is good, because that's how we're going to make at least some money out of those sheep. I think some of those sheep are old enough now that they're at the point where they will be making money versus their feed cost. Obviously, the ones that are out in the open pasture will just be grazing. So, and yes, we don't get that field to mow, but we don't have to do any work. The ones that are in the pen you just saw in the yard, there isn't really enough room to graze the number of sheep that are in there. So they do need some supplemental feed. So just sticking a manual 55 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare on, recovering the stuff that was slurried, because it really doesn't matter. With grass you can over fertilize it and it has no impact. So yeah, we are good there. I'm just going to get this job done and we'll call it a day, and next video we'll be back to mow all this stuff, which is going to be a heck of a lot of silage. I might end up getting another tractor in. I've got the tractor. I might end up getting another set of mowers in to speed it all up. And I don't think I have any loading wagons, so we'll lease a couple of loading wagons, maybe lease another set of mowers, and see if we can get a fairly big grass silaging operation going on, because that'd be fun, I think. Anyway, I am going to say thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions or suggestions below, and if you're not already, think about subscribing to the channel, and I will see you next time on Greenlands.